How can you save $100 million in a year? Well, maybe not you as a private person, but you as a corporation. In the past 2 weeks, I think it was, scrolling through social media, this article jumped in my head. I think I saw it from Seattle Times, not sure if Seattle Times is the original publisher or somebody else, about the fact that the SEC fined several Wall Street companies quite a lot of money because they didn't do enough to prevent their employees to use applications or apps to chat about work-related things that are not managed by the company. Now, when you look at that list, Bank of America got a fine of $125 million. Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, Barclays, all $125 million. JP Morgan Chase got a fine of $200 million. This came as a big shocker to me, to be honest. Several years ago, I remember seeing this YouTube video where a Microsoft employee, it was a CVP I think at the time, demonstrated the capabilities of mobile device management, MDM, or mobile application management can do. And when I saw this, I'm like, wait, the solution is at least a few years in the market. I know it was before 2018. So let's take a look at the solution I'm referring. Imagine you're an employee that enrolls their device. So when I start working at Microsoft and I get a new iPhone, I log in with my at Microsoft.com credentials and it enrolls certain things on the device so that my employer can wipe the device, etc. So if you look at this picture, you have a user, you have a mobile device, and IT, in my case, it's Microsoft IT, in your case, it's whatever company you work for, that has some capabilities to manage this device. Now with application protection, this expands to not just the device level, but also to certain applications. So here you see the Office applications highlighted, which gives the company certain control rights over those apps. There are other apps on my iPhone that wouldn't be affected by it. Think of Facebook, Netflix, my personal OneDrive. Now Office, for example, is an app that has multiple identities. I can have my work identity, but I also have my personal identity, my personal license that I consume. Now, mobile application management can actually differentiate if I use Word with one or the other identity. Now, the super cool thing is, imagine I get an email and I want to copy this and share it with my manager. I'm like, hey, here's the latest number. If I copy this in Excel, which is a work-managed application, I will get a denied. I can't just take this and paste it, let's say, in WhatsApp or text message or a non-work-managed app. I can take that, what I copied, and paste it into Word, because Word is also work-managed. But Word would prevent me to save this to my personal storage, because that's not work-managed. And so if I save it, let's say, to OneDrive for Business, that would be allowed, permitted. So at this point, mobile application management, mobile device management got to the point that if I copy a content from a work email and I want to paste that in a non-work managed application or store it somewhere, it can prevent this, even though it's in my clipboard on my mobile device. Now you may wonder, okay, the technology is there, but it's a Microsoft technology, so it probably is attached to a price. And you're right. I don't know what it costs, so I had to look it up. And so I went to the Microsoft website that compares the different Office versions for enterprise, because it's a tool commonly used in the enterprise. You see from $10 is the lowest cost up to $38. Now I will say these are list prices, so I assume large enterprises like the ones that got defined probably get some different prices, but I don't know how it works. I'm not a licensing specialist. But basically what I did, I took the assumption and said, okay, everybody's going to have at least Office. So Office 365 E1 would be $10 a month. When I looked through it, it doesn't include the Office apps, but it does include email and calendar. So it is limited, but it is Office. So just for the calculation purposes, I took that and then basically said, okay, if I go in E3 down, you will see that we have here device and application management. In E3, this is included. And then E5 gives you a bunch of more threat protection, other level of information protections and compliances. So now that I knew the prices from the website, I basically went to Excel. I created this table where I wrote down the bank names that jumped in my head while reading the article and wrote down the SEC fine, the number of employees. I didn't go to their website, looked at investor reports or public filing. I just took whatever results the search engine popped back at me. So there might be not the real numbers, but the principle would still apply. And then I listed the licensing difference. So E1, assuming that they have some form of office. They might already have E3, I don't know that. Just took the cheapest one, the difference, or to E5 that has even a richer feature set for compliance topics, which might make sense. And then basically annualized the $13 by 12, multiplied by their numbers, and subtracted that from their fine. And so if you would look at this list, at a minimum savings with E3, the least savings would be 90 millions. The highest one would have been 160 if they would have purchased E5 with the difference. There is still substantial savings. You see an average in this yellow highlighted. With E3 at average, savings would be 114, in E5 87, or across the two of them average saving is 100 million, which is why I titled this. Now I personally, I'm not like excited that these particular companies got fined. That's besides the point. I am grateful that the SEC enforces things like that and starts fining companies. And while I feel bad, I'm not happy about that they got fined, I do hope that one of the good things that raises out of this situation is that other companies will take a look at if they do enough so they don't get fined. So if you are a business, could be insurance, but like even if you're like a spa that gives massages, you may collect health related informations, whatever it is. Look at if you do enough to prevent that information is being leaked accidentally or just sent in an improper way. Make sure your staff understands it. If you're an enterprise, you have probably internal policies, but also use the tools there. Specifically check if you already have E3 or E5 licenses. You have all you need. And to be fair, there is other solutions. It's not like Microsoft is the only one that has solutions in this space. We obviously have a very good offering when it comes to security and compliance, but I'm just saying you might have technology that can help you with that. So you should definitely look into that. And if not, if you're an enterprise that has a Microsoft account team, reach out to them, ask them if they can help you. So you are not going to be the next ones that I read about in newspaper that they got fined. And if you're a small business, check it out too. It really, like, compared to what this stuff has cost, let's say 15, 20 years ago, it's pretty affordable and easy to do now. I hope you found today's episode valuable. If you haven't yet, please consider to click on the like button, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel so you're being alerted when it's updated. And if you have any comments, feedback, please let me know down below. And with that, D-Dave Kurt out.